Welcome to another episode of Yom Bros Anime Pod. I'm going to let my fellow hosts introduce themselves, and then I'll do so as well.
What up, everybody? It's Klepto on Twitch and Twitter. Good to see y'all again.
What's going on, everybody? I'm your boy, Love It, man.
Love it, man.
Love it, man.
You already know it's your boy, Flossy P93, a.k.a. Floss the Boss.
Floss the Boss.
And I'm the other host, Tiggity T. Let's get to it. This is going to be our debate episode. With that being said, I just want to say one of our panel members is a little more raring to go than the rest.
I'm really not.
As you can tell. We'll go ahead and start off with topic number one. And for topic number one, we have, is Demon Slayer all style, no substance? So we have Carl arguing the rebuttal, and we have we have Flossbaus arguing the affirmative, that Demon Slayer is all style and no substance. Gentlemen, let's hear the arguments.
Yeah, I would definitely say Demon Slayer is all style, no real substance. Only in comparison to animes that came out at the same time as it. I like to think of Demon Slayer's biggest competitor being My Hero Academia. And what hooked me on My Hero was its level of substance out the gate versus Demon Slayer being heavily stylized, and conceptually it was cool. I'm not saying it's bad, but as it went on, I very much lost interest. I finished My Hero like a crack fiend, so there's a lot in regards to my taste as far as substance with anime and storytelling that I lean heavy into, and that's why I perceive Demon Slayer the way I do.
Okay. Klepto?
I would say I understand as far as like, because of the popularity of the Demon Slayer anime, it 1000% overshadowed the manga. I'd be hard pressed not to say that the Demon Slayer anime has done a good job of bringing more light, more of the fan base to the content than the manga. But to say that it's more style than substance, I just can't agree with that. There are a lot of elements to the Demon Slayer story that are not only really good plot points, but also the way that they flesh them out and follow through. Like the building of the moons, the lower moons and the upper moons, there were no plot holes in those. You got to meet all of those members. You got to see all of those members. You didn't get to see what they were all capable of, but know of their existence, know who they are. Like, that's rare amongst modern animes. A lot of times you don't get fully fleshed out villains, fully fleshed out heroes. You don't get fully fleshed out backstories. Like, I mean, Demon Slayer gives you villain backstories. You got Muzan's backstory. You've got backstory from the period when it was just Muzan and the early Demon Slayers. Like, there's a lot to the story that I feel like gets overshadowed purely because of the popularity of the anime, and not so much as the story doesn't have substance.
I think working more off that point, the popularity of the anime and the animation definitely does overshadow the story. But I think that's where my argument, the cornerstone of it, comes from, because its main competitor, again, is My Hero Academia, who has just as good animation.
No, not even close. Not even close.
I would disagree. The heights
you could argue
of My Hero animation.
You could argue with a brick wall. There is no fight scene in My Hero that looks better than any fight scene in Demon Slayer.
Oh, I didn't say better. I said comparable. If we're talking,
not even. So this is what Deku versus Overhaul was cool, but not comparable. Deku versus Overhaul isn't Tanjiro versus what's it called, the Upper Moon and the Swordsmith Village. Not comparable. That's not Overhaul versus Deku wasn't comparable to episode 19 of season 1 where you first see the Hinokami Kagura. Like, no, bro, no, not comparable.
Absolutely comparable.
I'd have to
as far as virality, as far as the popularity of specifically that fight, we can even argue One for All versus All Might. That last fight also highly comparable. The difference in the two series, personally speaking, is the amount of substance. Whilst I'm not saying Demon Slayer isn't well fleshed out, if we're comparing it to its contemporaries at the time, it's lackluster at best. Its animation carries it over.
I could say the same about My Hero, because there are a lot of points in My Hero. I made the point that My Hero peaked in season 2, and I stand on that. Anything after season 2, story-wise, since we're talking substance, anything after season 2 falls to the floorboard. It has no foundation to stand on. So you want to talk about animation carrying an anime, like...
Well, you can't make that argument when your previous argument is that the animations isn't comparable to Demon Slayer.
I can still say that the animation that My Hero had still carried it because the story didn't. So I could still make that argument. I'm not saying it's better than Demon Slayer's, but I'm saying that the animation from My Hero is what continued to carry My Hero specifically.
Oh, Tyler, you blinked.
Yeah, I'm freezing up.
Yeah.
Compromiso. Sorry.
No.
I'm trying to get it together. Technical difficulties. Bear with me for a moment.
Y'all should keep going.
Oh, okay. I thought Tyler was saying he was interjecting. That's all.
Yeah, I thought it was too.
I'll interject after I figure out what is causing my computer to act like it doesn't know what's going on.
But yeah, no, Demon Slayer. I will concede that the anime has done a good job of growing the popularity to a point to where most Demon Slayer fans probably haven't read the manga. Or if you were to ask most fans today if they read the manga, most of them would probably say no. They're probably anime-only fans. So that's something without question I would concede, but that does not mean that there's no substance or that the substance isn't quality.
Okay, so I think I've got my... Sorry, may I interject?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'd just like to say, for sake of sakes, Klepto, while I can understand your point of My Hero and I understand you bringing it up, for me personally, while this may differ from your point of view, for me, the animation didn't really hit home, like didn't really drive itself past Demon Slayer until it hit the overhaul arc. And the reason for that is because it wasn't until that point that we really saw like next level animation, like stuff really being out of proportion with the physics of that said universe. Whereas with Demon Slayer, through the swordsmanship techniques, even though it's not actually water or flame or what have you, I think that lent credence to the animation in that sense being better. As far as it being substance over style, what I will say is that I think both series have both. The difference is that Demon Slayer doesn't give you the Game of Thrones ending, as well as I think the other caveat to that I'll also give in effect towards Demon Slayer, for me personally, is that in Demon Slayer, when you're first talking about the character themselves, Deku was kind of whiny, whereas Tanjiro was like, have to be the man because I'm the eldest sibling and my family died and the only person I have left is my sister. I'm gonna make this work. There is no other option. Whereas Deku was like, I'm making it happen because I believe in it. And I'm sorry, it just doesn't give the same energy. Whereas Tanjiro was like, listen, I'm gonna stand on business. I'm gonna train until I'm dead because I don't care. Like, I don't care about my life. I'm in it to win it. I'm gonna make Nezuko a human again. And so for that reason, I know I probably wasn't supposed to get involved on this particular debate. However, my contention is that Demon Slayer has it in spades because you get the character development of so many characters throughout. You get the Hashira character development with each Hashira that Tanjiro has an interaction with. And even the ones that he doesn't necessarily get an interaction with, you get somewhat of their backstory, but not entirely. I.e. the Wind Hashira, like you get a little bit of it through Genya, but you don't get his whole thing. Like you don't get the intermittent stuff he deals with in the meantime until you get like towards end game of the series. And so I could grant you that point if you're saying maybe that the pacing wasn't there, but the same could be argued for My Hero that the pacing wasn't there. So I think Demon Slayer does deserve its place in.
And again, I'm not saying that Demon Slayer doesn't have substance. It does, without a doubt. It's arguably one of the most popular newer anime of its time because it's full of substance. I'm just arguing that among its contemporaries, like My Hero, it is a lot more stylized.
Because My Hero is not a good comparison.
That My Hero has more.
The issue,
My Hero is just not a good comparison.
Do you think My
disagree.
Hero has better substance than Demon Slayer?
Yeah, there's a lot more story there.
So bold right now.
Have you read both? Have you read both?
I have read both.
You read both? Read the ending of both?
Hold on. Have you read both and Vigilantes and the ending?
I don't need to read Vigilantes. I just read all of
then
My Hero.
Then you're missing encapsulating parts of My Hero, and
What? From my understanding, Vigilantes is not the My Hero story. It's in the My Hero verse.
It's in the My Hero verse, and there's a lot of crossover, but it's echoing the same things you get from My Hero.
So then why would I read Vigilantes when I'm getting that in My Hero?
But here's the problem, Floss, is that whereas in My Hero, you don't get really the early users fleshed out. Like, you know what their powers are, but you don't know their story. Whereas
Yes, you do.
Every single one of them?
Yes,
I've read it all.
Okay, then I need you to go back and read again, because they definitely went through the first to the second to the third and fourth. Like, they went through it pretty hard.
They tell you who they are, and they tell you what their abilities were and their hero name. But they don't tell you
who they are, what their abilities were.
Hero. They don't go through their entire hero journey. They don't cover all that.
First of all, the first two weren't even heroes. They were fighting one for all.
That's back when it was called meta abilities. I concur with that. That was before the licensing.
So we get a bunch of their backstory in regards to him taking over Japan. And then you get the story of the user after him who just trained his body up.
Depth with Muzan?
I'm not arguing that you don't get the same depth. I'm saying
You're arguing that My Hero has more.
I'm saying that, yes, it has more because there's more.
I just don't think you're living in reality.
I don't think you are either, but
it has more in the sense of My Hero is a bigger world than Demon Slayer. But I guess at that point we be getting into quality. Because then the quality of the substance becomes, okay, what are we really talking about? Because that's like saying One Piece that's like saying One Piece has the best world building because it has the biggest world. Of course you would. It has time. It has all the areas. It has all the characters to flesh out a quote unquote better world.
That's a valid point. I
can't really like. I see what you're saying, but
if
we're gonna go that route, now we got to get into quality of substance. So now, if we're talking about quality of the substance, even with the bigger world, what are we really talking about? When it really comes down to it, when it really comes down to the main cast of characters, the main core of characters that we're seeing, like, what are we talking about? Is the quality of substance there better than the quality of substance in Demon Slayer?
I'm still arguing yes, but then again, now you're asking me, is my preferred quality of substance like a clash of ideals that's demonstrated on this stage versus a like classic hero's journey, hero conquers evil sort of
right
storytelling. So I don't know. I feel like that might be too far. I am making a quantitative argument though, so you could go that route.
But and may I interject?
Yeah, good.
Sure.
As far as this is going, though, I feel like we are straying from the main argument. I mean, don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
the
I'm
main
enjoying every
question.
last bit of this, but it feels like y'all are deep diving and you're straying from the main
Sorry, pulling
argument.
my ear back for sure.
What's the main argument other than?
Is Demon Slayer more styled than Substance?
I mean, we answered that already. Well, I answered it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we went there first.
we done
else
lost the body.
stuff after.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll feel led to debate on this one, but here we go. Romance in shonen, essential or distraction?
Oh, can I go?
I'll weigh in on
Can-
this
can I
one
weigh in
after y'all
right
get
quick?
started.
You
Yes.
absolutely may weigh in on it.
All right.
The
Now-
original two was for me and Corey. So Corey was going to argue for the affirmative, and I was going to argue the rebuttal. So I think that it's a distraction, and Corey thinks that it's essential. That was what we originally had settled on.
Okay. So with all that being said, me personally, I'm not sure. No, Baki is definitely not as shonen, right?
I don't
I don't
think
believe
so.
it is.
I think Baki might be more seinen just because it's more adult-like.
Right.
graphic.
It's
Okay.
more adult-like, more graphic. There's a lot of more adult themes
Right.
in Baki.
Right.
So I think Baki might be more seinen than shonen. Don't
Okay.
quote me on that though. I don't know.
No, I got you. But that's what I wanted to pick because we can agree that it's probably definitely not shonen though.
Yeah, I don't know if I classify
Maybe
Baki
not
as shonen.
like the classic sense of it. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not here. I mean, we could classify that right now, to be honest.
Okay, well, while you looking that up, let me go ahead and make this point though. I
Yeah,
think
go ahead.
that is not necessarily a distraction because in the world of Baki, they explain to you, man, that men have desires, and you know what I'm saying. And you can't just go around not tending to your loins. So, somebody got to catch that work.
That is a crazy way to put that.
But the thing about it at the same time, it's a crazy way to put it. But look how stronger Baki got actually after he waxed them cheeks, though.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
But
Baki-
Baki is considered a shonen story. Baki is
Okay.
Baki is
Well, no, that
considered a
makes
shonen
sense
story.
because it does follow all the usual tropes.
Mm.
I just
So-
figured because of the violence, it would be.
Yeah, to
probably
me it
more
just felt
adult.
like a little too adult for your classic
But-
shonen, but
But then again, JJK is a shonen, and
yeah, but
bro
JJK
dismembered
is
the
like-
city.
yeah,
For me,
Okay.
yeah,
He turned
Sorry.
everybody into Kool-Aid.
he did.
For me, I feel like romance and shonen, the reason I feel like it's such a distraction and not necessarily essential is because in some of the most prominent like masterpieces that we can all agree are masterpieces, i.e. One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, things that are on that level, is romance more in the forefront or is it in the
I don't think romance in any shonen is necessarily in the forefront.
Yeah, no, it's never posed as like a one-to-one to like the main plot, but it's a subplot going on in there for sure.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
okay with being a subplot, but here's the problem. I don't know what we're allowed to say on YouTube, so this may get taken down. I don't know if I can say this live. D or Love and Main, give me the thumbs up or thumbs down if I'm messing this up. But it feels like I'm getting a fucking edge job. It feels like I'm being blue balled. Because here's the reality of it. Like, you're sitting here, shit, like, okay, hear me out. Like, Izuku and Ochako, right? Like, Izuku and Ochako, the entire series is pitched like, oh, something's gonna happen. And then nothing happens until these alleged, oh, it's in the future, they're together.
So I will say, because of the typical shonen tropes, jeez. Usually, our protagonists are like teenagers or adolescents, and I feel like they add in the romance as a subplot to become a problem that those teenagers deal with. I know in Bleach specifically, everyone shipped Rukia and Ichigo from the gate, but it was always Orihime. And you don't see that until season 2. I'm doing it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Renji and Rukia make sense. Y'all was out here season 1.
It's not that it don't make sense. It's not that it doesn't make sense. It's the fact that they presented it in a way that made you think Ichigo and Rukia was gonna be a thing.
No.
Ichigo and Orihime.
No, it didn't. It did not.
After reading the manga, I watched the anime first. Let me just say, I watched the anime first, and then I went back and read the manga.
Okay.
Just to see if there was something I was missing.
Okay.
Hell no. It always looked like Ichigo and Rukia, and then out of nowhere,
I'm going to
Orihime.
I'm going to agree with.
Hold on, I got it.
Hold on. Let me
Continue your point. Continue your point, because we're not even talking about Bleach right now. That's not even the point of this conversation.
It kind of is.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait. So we not gonna act like Renji didn't pull up like that was her boyfriend, and Ichigo was the side, and then he proceeded to put hands on that boy.
I didn't
took her home?
feel that type of energy at all. I didn't feel that.
What? It was there.
At all.
That was there for sure.
Did you Stevie Wonder that shit or what?
No, I watched it. Nothing about Renji's attitude made him look like a jealous childhood friend slash
what
boyfriend.
happened?
Nothing.
So when they was going to give you the Renji backstory and Renji and Rukia's backstory, you didn't see
grew
that.
Up together the whole them.
But you
growing
didn't
up
see
together, that whole. Listen. Renji's attraction to Rukia, saw it. Absolutely. Rukia's mutual attraction to Renji, nowhere in sight.
It was there.
Nowhere in sight. Nowhere in sight. Rukia's slight attraction to Ichigo, blasted. My boy pulled up on the Hogyoku and she was like, yeah.
She was gonna die. She thought she was about to die. So my boy pulled up.
Anyway.
And it was worse because he pulled up in New Drip.
Friendship.
Finish your point, because I'm gonna weigh in too.
My main point is that it's often used as a subplot, not necessarily to detract from the main plot, but I think it furthers the main plot. Specifically in like long-standing series, we got like Inuyasha, you could G Gundam, Naruto, even in One Piece, there's a subplot of romance between Boa Hancock, Nami, Luffy. And it consistently comes up as, I feel like it's like this plot device that's relative towards two characters of different sex, and it pushes a different kind of bonding. Granted, Tyler, I understand why you feel like it's
but can I ask a question? Since you mentioned Luffy and you mentioned Nami and you mentioned Boa Hancock, what is that? What is the character's actual name from the Big Mom Kingdom that he calls Branch?
Bro, I don't know. I can't remember.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, but I can't.
You're talking about Relay.
What about the
sister with the mirror powers, right?
Come on, Luffy and Branch, bro.
Nah.
Yeah.
All I know is speaking on One Piece real quick, because this ain't got nothing to do with nothing. But what's her name? What was the name of her daughter? Milkshake? Death by Snoo Snoo.
Insane word.
God.
Anyway, continue.
Insane
We'll
word.
get back on topic.
That's my general point.
I feel like shonen without romance would be boring, personally.
So
more of a
I feel like straight up
I agree.
action-packed shonen, like main characters all about power growth and straight hands the whole show. At first, I feel like the first 3 episodes will be crazy. Fight scenes will be insane. You'd be hella hooked. And then eventually, even Windbreaker has a romance subplot. The girl that works the diner. That's 1000% gonna happen. That is 1000% gonna happen.
It's not even that. You just look at the way that that the main character acts when anybody shows any type of affection. Like that's definitely so romance is definitely a subplot in that show.
100% gonna happen. I feel like it would be boring without it.
I would argue that
personally,
that's part of why people also say that they don't really connect with Fairy Tail, because the subplot's there, all the parts of it are there, the Natsu Lucy thing is there, but it just doesn't happened?
Fairy Tail don't execute for me. I just can't.
Oh man, let's not rile up. Let's not rile up Floss.
That's not even on the list of questions for today.
All right, so we're gonna move on to topic number 3. So with topic number 3, can any modern anime touch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood? Now we have we have Floss Boss arguing. I know I keep messing this up. We have Floss Boss arguing the affirmative that there are modern anime that can touch it, and we have, if memory serves me correct, and we have Klepto arguing the rebuttal that there is not a modern anime that can touch Full Metal.
Hold on, there was stuff I wrote down.
I don't remember signing up for this rebuttal, but I got it.
I mean, y'all can reverse it if you think you can argue the reverse.
No, I personally feel like there are modern anime that could touch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Okay, so let's reverse it. Floss, do you feel like you can argue the rebuttal?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go.
Like,
Hold on.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is in my top 5 personally. I don't care how many haters out there try to clown it, but that is 1000% in my top 5 anime ever. But I don't think it's unfuckwittable.
No, I don't think that either. My main point of contention was this is gonna be weird because I don't want to go back to that first question, but it's an argument of like quantitative substance. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I just held on to a few quotes from it. For an example, a lesson without pain is meaningless, for you cannot gain anything without sacrifice. Something else in return. But once you've overcome it and made it your own, you will gain an irreplaceable Full Metal heart.
Right.
I can't, outside of, and this is jumping to an extreme, because I feel like whilst Full Metal was out at the same time, it definitely stood alone, like by itself as its own thing.
Absolutely.
You have to go into like philosophically rich anime like One Piece and Naruto to pull that same kind of essence out in order for it to compare. I think with newer anime, because a lot of them are short form and they're great, they're good. But we're not getting 600-700 episode series not much no more, you know?
Right.
So I feel like I'm comparing something in its infancy to something that was like fully crafted.
Right. And that's fair. That's valid. I mean, it's hard to argue against a finished body of work. And especially against one that's longer than, like you said, most modern anime, because most modern anime, we do get short form, whether it be 1 season, 12 episodes, 2 seasons, 12 episodes each, or you get 1 24 episode season, or, you know, maybe 2 24 episode seasons. But like he said, we're not reaching 600, 500, 600 episode animes anymore. They're just not making those stories as long. But I would argue that the impact is still felt. Modern animes like Free Rent, like Jobless Reincarnation, those animes do a really, really good job of delivering a great story with good animation and a solid impact as far as, whether you want to get into the philosophical side of it, whether you want to get into the emotional side of it, however you want to choose to dissect those animes, they bring a lot to the table. Yeah. So I will concede that because Full Metal is a finished body of work and most of these animes today are still coming out, still releasing episodes, it is hard to argue that there are animes today that could rival Full Metal, but I do believe they can, and I do believe there are some that have potential.
Yeah, I think they exist. The question for me, I guess, becomes one of longevity, because this is we're talking about Brotherhood. Full Metal Alchemist came out like 20 years ago. Right. Same as One Piece and Naruto and Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball was longer than that. And we're still talking about those. I feel like the the weight of things like that has a lot more to do with not just like what's the show about. It has a lot.
Right.
How did the show impact my like how I think about life?
So
Yeah.
okay, let me interject. Going on along the point of what you just got through saying and what Klepto just said just moments ago, one anime that I think has that definite potential to become something great when we come to the finish of it is Ranking of Kings. Because you want to go the philosophical route, you want to go with the life lessons, you want to go with a beautifully crafted, animation style. I mean, like it to me, it might not be as clean as Full Metal Alchemist, but it's definitely a clean body of work so far. And that's one anime that I would definitely throw into the ring and contention that it may become something on par or sit on that same plateau as Brotherhood when it becomes finished.
Argument for ooh, I'm about to butcher this. Give me 2 seconds.
After this, we're gonna move on to number 4. Because number 4 is gonna be a hotly contested debate.
Yeah, I can see a big argument being made to be thrown in that same kind of ring as Darling in the Franxx.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Bro.
If it was longer,
Bro,
that was longer, that would have been my first
show.
That would have been my first choice. Darling in the Franxx is fire.
Darling in the Franxx. All right, number 4. Is anime better now, or was it peak in the 2000s? So we have Corey and Carl arguing the affirmative that anime is better now, and we have Love and Main and myself arguing the rebuttal. I don't know why I did that.
I was going to say, wait a minute. I don't remember saying I was going to argue it's better now. I'm pretty sure me and Klepto both said it peaked in the 2000s.
Okay, maybe I have that in the reverse then. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's backwards.
Okay.
But it's okay. I'm okay with arguing that it's better now. I can make arguments for both.
Well, let me ask my partner. So the teams for this current debate is Klepto and Floss Boss, and then myself and Love It Main. So Love It Main, would you rather argue that it was peak in the 2000s or that it's better now? And I'll go off whatever you want to do.
I think I should stick.
Okay.
Okay, we can do that. We can do that. Y'all want to present y'all's case first, or you want us to go first?
Y'all go ahead, gentlemen.
Originally, I do believe I originally said it peaked in the 2000s. That would have been because of plot and story, a lot of plot and story elements. I feel like the stories of the Death Notes, the OG Hunter x Hunter, the Naruto, the Bleach, the One Piece, those stories are the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, like we just got through talking about. Those stories are handcrafted. They're handcrafted. They're written out. They're fleshed out. These stories have provided us with hundreds of episodes to watch and follow through. But my argument for today's anime being better would not only be that maybe the story elements and the plot elements haven't gotten better, but I don't think they've gotten worse. And the animation has only gone up. So now we're getting pristine animation, not only in our animes, but in our movies. I mean, we can't argue the movies. The movies that have come out in the past 5 to 6 years are nuts. They look insane. You know what I mean? But the stories in the modern animes are good too. My Hero, great storytelling. I feel like it drags a little personally, but overall, it is a true to life hero story. Like every trope of literally crafting a hero, like zero to hero, that is My Hero. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. Demon Slayer, like we just got to talk about Demon Slayer earlier, another classic shonen story. Guy faces tragedy, and instead of succumbing to, his life being over, he decides, nah, I'm gonna do something about it and try to fix it. Fantastic storyline. So I think that would be my argument for today's anime. It's not that the plot points and the storytelling, it may not have gotten better, but it hasn't gotten worse, and the animation has definitely gotten better.
So to add on to Carl's point that it has gotten better. We've actually seen a lot more original works in this current era versus the previous one.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, whilst people may argue Neon Genesis Evangelion was the precursor to Code Geass, that I would rather tell people to go watch Code Geass because it's just fleshed out better. It's a lot less convoluted, and it has one of the best endings of an anime that I've ever seen.
Right.
If you're looking for things that are more dramatic and suspenseful, nowadays there's still, again, Darling in the Franxx.
Erased.
Oh my goodness, Erased is ridiculous. It is pure gas. There's no powers. Well, I mean, not really. But
I mean, and the piggyback too, again, is like he said something I didn't even think about. You get to see a lot more original works. Like back then, you only got to see serial works. If it wasn't in Shonen Jump, it was not getting animated.
Yep.
If it wasn't in Shonen Jump, if it wasn't in some top tier, Shonen Jump, some top manga magazine or something that they were releasing weekly comics in, it was not getting animated.
Yep.
This day and age, you're getting. I mean, there's like literal tier lists of anime because there's actual bad anime like that you can go and watch on.
Back then,
That's what I'm saying. Back then they didn't have stream apps. Now you got stream apps, so now you can see like the creme de la creme of anime, but then you could watch like some anime that a guy might have not paid as much to put out. You know what I'm saying?
I made that statement. I was willing to ride with you until you said that statement. We're gonna go ahead.
Creme de la creme, bro. You don't like that statement?
Hold on. No.
Oh, my fault.
So what I will
should I say the high society? Should I say the top-notch anime?
No, sir. What I will say, here's what I'll say. So I will give credit. I don't think there is necessarily any one anime, even though I'm not a particular fan of sports anime, and even though I have said negative things about it in the past, I will admit that there are even positive attributes to Haikyuu. I recognize that anime that come out today do have a lot of positive attributes about them in their storyline, their plot, and their animation. However, the reason I would say it's valid to say that they peaked in the 2000s is this. You could say that you could find a Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood realm storyline.
Mm-hmm.
You're not finding a Cowboy Bebop. You're not finding a Trigun. Hold on.
Oh no, there's a Bebop. There's a modern Bebop.
Hold on. Time out, big guy. Nowadays, as we previously discussed, the animes are much shorter because they can get more money having condensed seasons by having it on a streaming platform because it's changed the way that the animators make money. And so,
there's that.
Let me cook. Hold on. Let me cook. So you're not getting 110 serialized episode, animes like with Cowboy Bebop. You're not getting creations that are content to that. What you're getting is series that have a couple seasons and then they won't do anything for years, and then they'll decide to animate a couple more seasons, if that. Or they'll test out a season here or a season there or what have you. And I think the reason that I maintain that I feel like anime did kind of peak back then is because, for me, since G Gundam, I've been hard-pressed to find a Gundam that can measure up to it in my mind. Now, this is just my personal opinion. This isn't a fact. This isn't...
Nah, you spitting facts.
Long edict of the anime world. But
people hype up Iron Blood Orphans, but it's not that good, personally.
I can't.
It's not that good. That's what I'm saying. Like, so on your Gundam point, that's why I say you spitting facts. Like, I haven't seen a Gundam as good as G Gundam, like, since G Gundam. So that's valid. That's valid.
That's the point I want to make, and this is where I'll probably get some argument, and then I'm going to turn it over to my love and main. So, for me personally, intros and outros in the 2000s, I know there's certain outliers nowadays
Don't do that.
in the new
Don't
anime.
do that.
That's
Don't do that.
Back
Don't do that.
then,
Mm-mm.
listen to me. There's nothing.
Mm-mm.
There's nothing in current anime that is.
That's nostalgia talking.
Hold on. No.
Nostalgia talking.
No. There's
Go
not
ahead.
a single there's not a single anime that tops the outro of Inuyasha.
That's
Mike.
nostalgia talking.
No, you're insane.
Naruto topped that outro at least 4 times.
Negative.
It did. I'm sorry, Bluebird
That's-
shit. I know exactly which outro you're talking about. I love that outro.
That's just
But
nostalgia
Bluebird dog walked that outro. Bluebird is so iconic. You don't even got to speak English. You hear Bluebird,
No,
you know what
bro.
that is.
You know the
I mean,
song.
that's fair, but I would argue
I'm
that
just-
an entire generation
So-
is defined by Inuyasha. In America, at least, an entire generation is defined by the outro.
I don't know, bro. There's a whole new generation of anime kids out there, bro. Like,
But that doesn't negate that there's an entire generation of people that are mine and love.
I mean, absolutely,
defined by that.
absolutely. I'm not. There's no denying that at all. But I'm just saying, like, I got.
Yeah, I was also gonna say, there's
So-
a season 4 for Sword Art Online. The intro song for that mashes the Inuyasha outro song. The Sword Art Online Alicization opener. I'm sorry, dog walks it. I saved it. It's on my Spotify.
Record of
I
Logo.
hope so. I hope so, because that
Record of
anime-
Logo
oh,
4. I'm sorry.
So all I'm going to say, I definitely like. Don't get me wrong. I like a lot of modern anime. I absolutely enjoy a lot of things I'm looking at, but there is a lot of anime back then still can't be touched or can't be looked. You know, it's still got to be looked at as like one of the greatest that sits in that era, because it just can't clone it. And a lot of modern anime have been trying to be a mashup of certain animes nowadays that I'm seeing. So that being said, I'm talking about animes like Fist of the North Star. I'm talking about animes like Robotech, which is damn for sure the precursor to any Gundam.
Mhm.
I'm going to always forever
I
talk
wouldn't say
about
there's clones, but there's definitely descendants of both of those.
that's what I'm saying. They are descendants. They're trying to recreate these, but they're mashing them up with other animes to trying to, give them some
Reinvent the storyline.
yeah.
I mean, they gotta create some sort of originality. You can't.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
You can't create
A mashup
you
is not
can't still-
necessarily original
You can't
though.
still exact. Well, yeah, I feel what you're saying, but it's out of the mashup. You're creating something that's your own.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's not necessarily even a mashup either, just because it has.
Mostly a specific
Just
element.
because it has, yeah, if it's a big mech, big robot anime with powers or something to that effect, that's its own thing. It just has big mechs versus.
Yeah, but
then
I would
you-
argue
then I go
that
back-
in
hold
the
on.
same way that certain shonen animes draw their inspiration from Dragon Ball, I would argue that a lot of mech animes draw their inspiration from Robotech.
From
And in
Robotech.
that sense, it would
Yeah,
lend,
that's why I said there's a lot of
it would
descendants.
lend credence to our argument in the 2000s because they're all drawing inspiration from the same shit.
It wouldn't lend
Yeah.
credence because then
That
you
doesn't-
could say, hold on, because then you could say, okay, well then Robotech and the precursor Gundams got all of their stuff from Astro Boy and the original animation for big robots from the 40s. It's not the same thing. It did get inspired by that.
One wasn't in a suit. He was a robot.
Astro
Oh no,
Boy.
Astro Boy is responsible for a lot of
Yes,
like elements.
and
in
if we're gonna talk about
mangas
Astro
throughout
Boy,
history, mangas
if-
and anime.
yeah, I was just about to say, if we're gonna talk about Astro Boy is definitely responsible for, what was it, Cyborg 009, I believe is the name of the series.
100%.
Yes,
Mm,
that is definitely that. But those don't have nothing to do with going to like big mechs and Robotech and because Robotech was that. Because Robotech was that precursor for all like mech anime.
Yeah, but Robotech also came from something else, is what Corey is getting at. So it's like while we could say
But
that,
then again, that's just further back. It's not further.
yeah,
forward.
but I'm saying it still takes away from your point, because it's like you could say that about anime today, but we could also say that about animes and works that came out before the works you're talking about. So like we could play this game.
So how about Tenchi Muyo? Because to me, I don't know any slice of life that came out before that. And I could be horribly wrong.
No, Tenchi Muyo was considered a slice of life. Tenchi Muyo might be
Tenchi Muyo is definitely older than Fruit Basket.
Original.
Fruit Basket came out around the same time when it was put on television.
But Fruit Baskets is
the original too, not the reanimation.
Okay, so that came around the same time. Okay.
I also wouldn't compare Tenchi Muyo to Fruit Baskets.
Yeah, no.
I don't think we are. I think he's just talking about the fact that they're both slice of life, and what my statement was.
Oh.
So, but even with that now, and I'm proud to say this anime, and we can move on after this. You know what I'm saying? My boys, the Ronin Warriors, can't be touched. That was peak in the 2000s.
Samurai something.
Samurai Trooper. No, it's Ronin Warriors in English. In Japanese, it's Samurai Troopers. And
I know that.
And they were so peak in the 2000s that these boys now are getting a sequel.
Tenchi Muyo released before Fruits Baskets.
I'm not trying to make my partner mad, but Ronin Warriors, I don't feel like was ever better than Yu Yu Hakusho. Number 5. Can a slice of... I know that might be another debate.
It's not comparable. They're not comparable. They're not comparable because one was like Power Rangers, the other one is Spirit Detective. It's not comparable.
Okay. So number 5. Can a slice of life anime ever be a GOAT contender?
Tenchi Muyo.
Yeah. Hold on, time out. So we have Walls arguing the affirmative, and I'm arguing the rebuttal. I do not think that can be the case, and Floss Balls does think that can be the case.
You were just objectively wrong. I'm saying that before y'all start.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it definitely can. There's a ton of slice of life anime or anime with elements of slice of life that definitely carry that sort of impact or legacy. One of my favorites personally is Angel Beats. That's actually about purgatory, but it's so good because it's so wholesome until you catch it, and then you're like, wait, where'd he go? He moved on. All these kids are dead. Like, yeah, there's storytelling in slice of life that you can get away with that you can't in other, I want to say genres or elements of anime, but oftentimes slice of life is met with another element to make it more digestible. Dang, I'm trying to think of the name of this one I've been watching recently.
Let me just say this. The reason I rebut the fact that a slice of life can never be the GOAT is because of this. If a slice of life could be a GOAT anime, right? Within just my opinion, not as a fact, but just within my opinion, they would need to have a series that lasts longer than One Piece.
I feel like that is
a slice of life. That's way too long.
One Piece is way too long for a shonen.
Hold on.
I mean, facts.
Hold on. We have soap operas that have been running for 30 fucking years. If we can get a soap opera to run for 30 fucking years, we can get a slice of life.
Soap opera shouldn't have been running for 30 years. You talking about Grey's Anatomy? Grey's Anatomy should have been off TV 10 years ago. Law and Order SVU should have been off TV 10 years ago. Shut it down. Shut it down.
It's so great.
Elliot to retire.
Damn great that it can be a greatest of all time contender. Surely it should be able to last as long as some old silly shonen.
Length does not equal greatness, sir.
Yeah, at all. I would argue
length does not necessarily correlate to greatness. However, my contention is that if a slice of life could be considered a greatest of all time, I would need it to stand the test of time. And I have not yet seen, within my personal anime experience, my personal anime journey, that is not to disprove your journeys, but in my personal journey, I've yet to see one slice of life anime that I'm like, good golly gee, this is such an amazing body of work, you know?
Yeah, you have.
I think it could be the...
Yeah, you have. Hold on. Yeah, you have. You want to know why? You
What
seen
slice
Mob
of life?
Psycho, right? Mob Psycho has slice of life elements.
It does have slice of life elements, but what is its genre branded as?
That's a show.
It's branded under Shonen and Slice of Life. I just got through looking at it. I'm looking at it right now on my
Sure.
Google.
Then I may be mistaken. And I'm
Okay.
willing to recant my point if that is the case, because then I'm
Mhm.
I was gonna make more of an argument from the purely slice of life.
Slice
I
of
only
life
brought up
is
Mob Psycho
part-
because he said he'd never seen a slice of life that was. What'd you say? You never seen a slice of life that what?
I said I have never seen a slice of life that I would consider a greatest of all time contender.
Okay, I didn't hear the last part. So you might not consider Mob Psycho a greatest of all time contender, but you've definitely seen Mob Psycho.
I do agree that
And
Mob
you
Psycho
like
is a
Mob
phenomenal
Psycho.
anime. It is a phenomenal
Mhm.
anime. I'm not saying I dislike slice of life.
I
And I do recognize that to be the greatest of all time, you do need slice of life elements. But I disagree that an entire slice of life encapsulated in the slice of life genre and only the slice of life genre could ever be a GOAT contender. Regardless of the philosophical concepts discussed in the anime itself or manga itself, simply for me, because unfortunately I need people hitting people. I'm a deranged individual. I like hurt people hurting people. I want to see damage and carnage and malevolence.
I was about to say, Comey Can't Communicate was one of the sweetest stories I've ever watched.
July and April too.
Boy,
Psyche K.
Psychic K.
Psychic K, Charlotte. I keep bringing it up.
You know what?
It,
What about the Studio Ghiblis? Would those be considered slice of
K-On.
life?
Some of those actually, I would think you would actually consider some of those slice of life.
I think some of the movies are slice of life. Yeah,
Yeah.
Kiki's is definitely slice of
Okay,
life.
then I apologize. I have to recuse myself.
He said, "Oh no, not Ghibli."
Every single Studio Ghibli film is the greatest of all time contender. You heard it here first from Tiggy. I recant my points. Floss Boss is the clear victor here. I need to exchange my degree and go to his school of knowledge immediately.
It's okay. It's okay. We just doctored in different anime bullshit degrees.
That he gonna make
That's
you go
why
down Dragon
whenever
Ball.
they
You
make-
picking up all Naruto.
That's why whenever they that's why whenever they be in the comments saying crazy stuff like Naruto not a masterpiece.
Yeah, I ain't
One
gonna
of
lie.
you
If they
hacks
argue
saying,
Naruto, then you know it might get a little heated. It get a little heated.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
It got funny. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna just make this quick. It got funny in them comments, man, because somebody said some crazy shit about Naruto. Corey went there and said, "Man, that's crazy," and he was waiting for a rebuttal, but dude never said nothing.
No, because what they were discussing is they were discussing the fact that in the Leaf Village that no dads trained their kids. And that's
I'm sorry, bro. That one set me off. I said, "What you mean?"
It was that one. It was that take, and then I think there was another one where bro was trying to argue whether or not Orochimaru had left the village because of Minato becoming
Yes.
Hokage, or it was like a time period thing. And I went back and rewatched it, and I was like, "Bro, he was right." I was like, "That dude was lying. That dude tried to tell us we was wrong, bro." I was like,
Like, he didn't leave the village because of
"What?"
he got caught
bro.
experimenting on people.
Yeah, in fact, bro got caught and was like, "All right,
I'm gonna be out.
it's on this kill."
All right.
Perusing Sensei tripping.
So for point number 6, everybody wanted to be involved in this one, so I'm sure everybody's going to have a different take, or maybe we might all agree. You don't need to watch all of an anime to have a valid opinion.
Let me go. Yes. You gotta watch the whole thing. If you not a manga reader and have already, me personally, if you're not a manga reader and okay, well, let me ask you this, since y'all shaking y'all heads, and let me ask you this: what do we mean by the valid opinion?
I was about to say, let's specify on that. Are we talking about whether or not the show was good or not, or are we talking about like you know enough about the story to commentate on the story?
Okay, so when I initially read this question,
hold on, go ahead, Tyler. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, when I initially read this question and prompted it for us to discuss, it was my understanding that for people who have stated that, for example, we had a comment on TikTok that explained to me that I did not know oppression and therefore could not speak on the oppression that existed in an attack.
Oh yeah, that comment was wild.
So if we're going that route, then no, you don't have to.
So the contention is do you have to watch an entire anime to form an informed opinion on that anime?
No, I cannot confidently say no with that.
But I do think that there's a gray area. Like, I don't think you would have a valid opinion if you were talking about the full body of the anime. But if you just said, for example, y'all don't like Fairy Tail, I can't get into it. It doesn't
the entire first season. I was just about to say one season.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
One season. You watch one season, I will listen to any anime take you in.
So when I listen to y'all's takes, I don't agree, but I take it as a valid point because you watched enough of it to have that take. I've
read it, and I have reviewed it in synopsises of Fairy Tail, and each time, all I can think of is, this entire time I was watching this or reading this, I could have been watching Yu Yu Hakusho again. So, no disrespect to Fairy Tail.
I'm wrong with him.
With regards to whether or not you need to watch all of an anime to have a valid opinion, let me go ahead and speak on that real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and say no, because I watched 2 episodes of Attack on Titan and knew it was going to be a big old shit pie. Come from in the comments. The anime is ass.
You watched 2 seasons of the first. You watched 2 episodes of the first season and said that?
Hear me out.
Hey. Choose your next words carefully.
Okay.
Yeah, because season 1 was gas. I'm so
gas.
Season 1 was good. But you know what the problem is with animes that get that popular that quick? They fumble.
Yeah, season 2 was awful.
Mm-hmm.
Awful. I only watched 3 episodes of season 2 before I started reading the manga.
More garbage. And what happened in season 4? They split it into 2 halves.
All that. Absolutely. I was just making sure you wasn't saying season 1 was trash. I had to draw the line. I'm an Attack on Titan hater, but we draw the line at season 1. Season 1 was perfection.
Had a good thing going in season 1. I was thoroughly enjoyed with it, but it didn't have a slow enough build to capitalize.
I feel you on that.
It burned too fast.
It hit and kept running. True. It hit and kept running in season 1.
It's Forrest Gump getting the touchdown.
And because of that, I think the people who were coming up with the ideas for the series just got too far ahead of themselves and they painted themselves into a corner and had to write themselves out of it. And that's why we got time travel through memory. Because
what happened with that was the person who I don't know if it was the person who created the story or the animation company that was originally doing Attack on Titan, they switched animation companies. So the original ending isn't the ending we got. The new animation company changed the ending because the manga was going in a really bad direction. The story was going in an awful direction. So the new animation company took over the rest of the story.
Well, it still turned into a big pile of ass. So all that tells you is that it could have been way worse than it already was because they didn't continue forward with what they did in the first season.
Oh, and don't get me wrong, that new animation company worked wonders on that story. Let me give them credit where credit is due, because where that story was headed after anime season 3, that new animation company talking about they pulled some Kishimoto shit and brought that shit back. Like, attempted, but they made it better than what it was gonna be.
They made it watchable.
No, they didn't, because I didn't watch it.
Damn. Oh man, Attack on Titan catching strays left and right. It sound like what happened to Tokyo Ghoul.
Bruh, same thing that happened to Tokyo Ghoul. Same thing. Yep. Perfect season 1. Perfect. Oh my god! Like I rewatched it like a month ago. Fantastic. And then season 2 started, and I was like, "What the hell is going on? Man. What is this? Is this a new show?" And then I saw Kaneki and was like, "What happened to my dog? Like, who am I looking at right now?"
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Where did all these new people come from?
Also, I feel like animes that are going to be good, we've watched enough good anime. Now, granted, again, these are all our opinions. None of this is fact. None of this is we're writing the Crunchyroll hot list, 100, whatever. But I think that we all collectively have watched enough good anime to at least recognize within each other's choices, like, yeah, man, you're right. I mean, I would say that's worth watching. Or, no, man, you're an idiot. That's dumb. That's hot garbage. How dare you? How dare you like befoul the air with your watching that hot garbage? Like, if I catch any of you watching Attack on Titan, that's probably what I'm going to tell you. But
after season, look, I gritted my teeth and I watched to the end of season 2. And then after season 2 was over, I said, "Nah, I'm good on this." Started watching Rising.
I'm gonna finish it
more than I did watching it.
I'm gonna finish it because I started it, but Attack on Titan. I'm gonna finish it because I started it. Like, I feel bad. Like, I read it. Don't get me wrong. I read it. I read the original before they switched animation companies, and I read it after they switched companies. So I read it, but I wanna watch it. I wanna be able to say, okay, I've watched it, I've read it, I've seen all there is to see. Garbage. Like, I want there to be no room left for, like, have you seen this? Did you understand? None of that. Garbage. Like, I want to be able to say, yeah, I understood it all, got it all. Garbage. Like, I got. So I'm gonna watch the rest of it.
Comments be saying that you got to understand see the centrifugal force of the giant armored titan. If you multiply that 30 Rasengans, that's why Attack on Titan is better than Naruto. It's like, oh, stop! Like,
I'm not really an Attack on.
Mental math to make it
if any of your explanations got to use the word centrifugal, we gotta have a conversation.
I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I'm not even an Attack on Titan hater, but like, bro, like after, for me, it's second season where I was like, I cannot. And the thing about it is, I watched the rest of it because like I was like, I'm one of those people, like, I want to see the rest of this story, how this plays out. But I just, like, at a certain point, I'm just like, I'm done. Like, this got stupid. This got stupid real quick.
Because in opposition to that, in something like Ranking of Kings, bro, I knew by the end of episode 2, I was like, this is a good anime.
Oh, God.
I was like, this is a good anime. I feel bad for Lobo.
By the end of episode 1, I was like, oh no, I'm hooked. Like, I'm into this. Same with Free Run.
I watched the whole thing in one day.
Episode 3 of Free Run had me hooked. I was like, as soon as I got to episode 3 of Free Run, I was like, oh yeah, I see it. I see it now.
I ain't gonna lie, that's what had me too.
Jobless Reincarnation.
I see it now.
Oh, bro, episode one of that one had me.
I was about to say episode 1.
Bro, like the first 60 frames, I was like, oh, this is gonna be some shit.
I was like, that entire first episode, I was like, bro, I didn't even know they made anime like this.
Hey, you know what caught me like that for real though? Y'all seen Megaloboxing?
Bro.
So let me say this. So there's a series out there that I initially, because there was so much love for it, I went into it not wanting to like it. And watching the first episode, I was immediately blown out of the water. I was like, cool, I'm just going to go fuck myself.
You hockey show, I'm hanging up.
Black Clover for me, I ain't gonna lie. Black Clover, I didn't want Vinland Saga.
Yes, bro.
I didn't know what to expect from Vinland Saga, but again, that's another one. After episode 1, bro.
there's so much love for it that I was like, cool, I'm gonna enter into this. I wanted to change my mind, but I'm gonna be like, no, I don't like you. And then in the first episode, it's like, cool, I fucked. Tragic shit.
Well, nah, that was Black Clover. Corey was harping on Black Clover to me for like a month straight, and I was like, dog, I'm not watching that shit. Like, chill out. He was like, nah, bro, you gotta watch it. And so one night I finally sat down with some friends I was playing. We had just got through playing the game, and they're like, have you seen Black Clover? I was like, nah. So we all hopped in a Discord and watched like 2 episodes. When he got to the kingdom and took the Magic Knights exam, and he hit bro's shield, like, they was all like, they were like, was that reinforcement magic? That boy Yami was like, nah, that's just his physical strength. I was like, oh. That episode, I was like, I'm a fan.
I ain't gonna lie, that was Kaiju number 8 for me. I got caught off the first episode.
Bro, first episode.
Yeah, me too.
First episode.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I still don't like the animation that they did. Netflix, get your shit together. But that first episode of Sakamoto Days got me like that.
Yeah,
I gotta watch it. I still don't watch
it's
it.
man, like I said, like I gotta love-hate relationship with Sakamoto Days, bro.
I had a higher
expectation.
Is the manga
for
better?
It, yeah. The manga is bro. Like you wasn't paying attention when I said this, bro. The manga to me is 10 times better than that. But don't get me wrong. Again, we only in the first season, and bro, within the next couple of books that I think they're gonna be using for the second season, it may get better because it gets more violent. So it may get better.
Before we go on to the anime recommendation, I got something I gotta ask y'all. So, how many of y'all would say that you're still fans of Dragon Ball Super?
Absolutely, I would rewatch.
Okay, but do you remember how Dragon Ball Super started?
Yeah,
When
it
they
was
had
rough.
the animation, bad.
It was rough, even to this day. Yeah,
I was
even
just
to this
happy
day.
to see it in people's again.
Yeah. But no, even to this day, if
Yeah,
you
it
go
was
back
bad.
and watch that episode,
You be like-
Goku, where Beerus pulls up on Goku at King Kai's planet, the animation, they still have not fixed that. You can still watch that bad
You be like,
animation
what
from
the
release.
fuck?
I'll never forget when that animation came out, we was on Facebook tearing Toei up for like weeks. We was tearing Toei up. Like, nah, what the hell is that? Why Goku look like that?
Season Z animation.
No, I'm saying, bro, looked like they hit his outline with yellow crayon, bro. It was bad. It was so bad.
Oh, that's terrible.
So now I'm gonna get Flossbox to do our anime rec for this week, and that is Charlotte.
Oh yeah, in case y'all didn't hear me talk about this like 4 times during the pod, Charlotte is really a suspenseful mystery drama that has some powers in it. It starts off slice of life, but it don't end up that way. The depth of this anime is ridiculous. I would say this: if you with somebody, you dating somebody, you seeing somebody, this is your date night anime. Watch that. Watch y'all eat dinner, light some candles. It's smooth, not because it's romantic, but because you're gonna need to hug somebody at the end. Yep. It's all tears. It's all tears, and they don't care about your heart. You're gonna need a hug and a nap at the end of this one.
Another Euroline.
Why you trying to hurt us like this, Floss?
Huh?
Why you trying to hurt us like this?
Because it's good. It's good.
How many episodes, my boy?
It's not that many. I think it's only like 50 episodes. Something like that. It's nothing crazy.
And where can we find this heart-shattering anime?
It should be on Crunchyroll and Netflix, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me shatter your heart in 50 episodes. That sounds pretty damn tragic.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, about midway through.
I think Angel Beats and Your Line April do it in less.
Yeah.
Oh,
They do. They do. And I'm sorry.
They do it in
Wait,
less.
why are we comparing?
Because
Your
sometimes
Line
it's good
April.
to cry. Your Line in April was, that was painful. That was painful, boy. It was good though.
I might check this out, but I cry enough in life with life beating me down. I don't need.
It's a good
cry.
De-stressing cry. It's a good cry.
It's a good cry. You need it.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, for anime question this week, We had a commenter on TikTok who commented when we discussed anime crossovers. What if the anime multiverse existed? What would happen if characters crossed over? And he posed this question. We need an anime eating contest across all the verses. So many big eaters. Screw who's the strongest. Who's got the biggest back? Who can pound food even better than they can pound their enemies? Who can Super Saiyan their stomach lining? And that comes from Dresden1031. Dresden, thank you.
Shout out Dresden.
That boy Luffy and Luffy and Shite.
I got Rimuru.
Rimuru, that's what I was about to say. It's about to out eat everybody.
That is crazy.
And Rimuru ain't gaining no weight. That man just about to sit there and say devour, and that's it.
See, hypothetically, I want to say Luffy, just because Luffy to me seems
I don't think
like
Luffy's eating the same.
I think Luffy to me, Luffy and Rimuru are definitely like when you think bottomless pits. Those are definitely the first two that come to mind. But based off of what I've seen with my own two eyes, I'm still going Goku. I'm still going Goku.
Quick
I
question.
don't think anybody puts food away like Goku, bro.
You know the secret dog in this fight is?
I still not seen Beerus eat like Goku. I ain't gonna cap.
Who you got?
You know the secret dog in this fight is? She don't gain no weight.
Ah,
I got one for y'all too, but that's why I said quick question.
Black Clover?
Charmy?
Yeah.
You talking about Charmy?
I wasn't gonna bring up Charmy, but now that you said it, yeah.
Charmy in the conversation.
So quick
too.
question.
Hinata.
Kirby was considered an anime, correct?
Oh my god.
Nah, we gonna leave Kirby to
We gonna
Nintendo.
leave Kirby where he
video
at.
game
Kirby eat
universe.
the whole world and gain no weight, bro.
That's what I'm about to say. It's just gonna be him and Rimuru just sitting in the middle of nothingness, still trying to eat shit.
I don't know. I've never seen Rimuru in one sitting eat as much as Goku or Luffy.
That's because
in one sitting.
That's because he hardly eats anything.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So that's why I say, like, while his potential to be like a bottomless pit is there 1000%, just based off of what I've seen, I'm still saying Goku. I've never seen nobody put as much food away as I've seen Goku eat.
I'm trying to think of another anime character.
You know, that's something that you don't see a lot in modern shonen is the main characters eating a lot these days.
No, nobody
like Deku didn't put a lot away of food. Tanjiro didn't put away a lot of food. Who?
Fat Gum.
That good.
I mean, Fat Gum. I was talking more main characters. But Fat Gum probably eat a lot.
But
Fat Gum
yeah,
is butterfly
that's what
bomb.
I'm saying. Like I can't really think of modern main characters that really put away food other than Luffy. I mean, Luffy's still modern.
Hey, but y'all know Choji about to sit at that table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Choji's tapping out before Luffy. And Luffy's tapping out before Goku.
It's a bunch of anime characters tapping out before Luffy. It's gonna be like Luffy, Goku, fucking Rimuru. If we gonna add Kirby, Charmy maybe still sitting at that table. Charmy maybe still sitting at that table.
I wouldn't put Kirby at the table, but I would put Charmy at the table.
Luffy, all the Saiyans, and Charmy. Because all the Saiyans eat a lot.
Really give
I was about to say every Saiyan eat a lot. So it's not just I said Goku because Goku's the first one that came to mind, but all of them Saiyans eat a lot.
They've been grubbing, boy.
That would be dope though.
Like they gotta have a feast. They literally have to have a feast for dinner.
That would be
like
dope to see though.
In the kitchen slaving.
Like just have one animation company just actually make like this one big ass just crossover just for the fuck of it. And just see them all chow down.
Sanji and Toriko gotta be cooking though.
They got the whole Shokugeki staff in there working overtime.
Bruh. Overtime is an understatement. They all coming out with crooked fingers.
Mm-hmm.
That shit will be lit.
With that being said, this has been another episode of Young Bros Anime Pod. Thank you for being with us. Brothers Young.
I really need to make that into a damn button. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna work on that. All right.
Get a soundbite for it. Peace out, yo.
So